Indonesian dating sites are terrible. This is the topic of today's video. And before we dive into this, today I want to read you a viewer comment which I have received. Quote, Indonesian Cupid is terrible. From my experience, at least. Just followed your recommendation and paid for the gold membership. First thing that is pissing me off is that I set a clear age range and it is not respecting it. It keeps showing lots of old women. Second thing is that the pool of girls is very small. I hope I'm doing something wrong and I can somehow fix it in order to find any value on this app website. I've tried both the app on my phone as well as the website on my laptop. I'm really curious about what filters are you using? Do they work? And have you been able to see any beautiful young girls? I'm in Jakarta, and when the near me filter, this guy is in Jakarta, so as you can hear, it's very noisy. So I'm in Jakarta, and when the near me filter, I only see mostly unattractive 30 plus, lots of 40 plus. I remember you mentioned in one of your videos that your taste hasn't changed and it is still for younger girls in their 20s. I do see a few on the app, but most are not beautiful. And every time I log in, I'm shown the same girls. I had much more luck on Tinder so far. I'm seeing a beautiful 19-year-old, but want to meet more girls. She's just my very first Indonesian ever. So let's talk about this comment, valid comment, why not? Some guys, they are satisfied, some other guys are not satisfied with their experience, various dating sites, and in this case Indonesian Cupid. So my answer to this comment is that I never used a gold membership. You know, there are different memberships. I always use the basic one, the cheapest one. That's it. No need to become a gold member or silver member. I always subscribe just for the basic subscription. That's it. Why did I recommend Indonesian Cupid and still do to other guys? Because I have had good experiences at the end of the day. Therefore, I recommend it. Yeah. This is also the only dating site I used when I was dating online. And my results were pretty satisfying. You know, I found 3 of my past Indonesian girlfriends on Indonesian Cupid. So for me, it worked. You know, I was quite satisfied. Although I must say, it is not like you open up the app and tons of beautiful 9 or 10s are approaching you and want to date you, want to hang out with you. It's not like that. You also need patience, and the average of the women are not really top models. That's just the reality, okay? So I don't know what kind of expectation you have or preferences you have, I don't know. But don't expect really too much, okay? Be a little bit more humble. Because the majority of Indonesian girls are also not 9 or 10s or supermodels. They're just basically good, average looking. Many are also pretty, okay? Now, regarding the filters, what filters do I use? I don't use any filters at all, to be honest. I did not use any. I just would indicate my preferred age range, let's say 25 to 35. And that's it. But the girls ignore it anyway. You know, a lot of 40-year-old, even 50-year-old women also texted me. You know, so that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But what is important, what I have been doing or had been doing in the past is I never contacted any girls. You know, I just waited and see who is coming to me, because in the early days of my online dating, I hit on a lot of girls. I contacted them, but I noticed, you know, it's just a big waste of time. It is also kind of Murphy's Law somehow, you know. The girls I'm interested in, they're not interested in me. And the girls I'm not interested in, they're interested in me. I think other guys have made the same experience. I don't know why that is, you know, but so, and then I stopped just contacting these girls. Very, very rarely I then just messaged a woman which I really like, but in general I just left it and I just waited and waited for the girls to contact me, and if there was a girl which I liked, then I messaged her back, and then we got things going. So that was my tactic, my approach basically on Indonesian Cupid, you know. So now this viewer is asking also if I have met any beautiful girls, or are there any young beautiful girls, you know, because he complains when he puts in his filter near me, he just gets shown like 30-year-old, 40-year-old unattractive women. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I've made similar experiences, you know, you just have to live with it. I don't know how to say, how large your tolerance level is, you know, your ability to be tolerant. The viewer also said there are some girls in their 20s, but they're ugly. Yeah, so that's life, you know. I mean, it should also be common sense that the 9s and the 10s, the super pretty, hot chicks, top model style, they will not hang around on the dating sites because there is no need for them. Because they can have like 10 boyfriends on each finger. They don't need to activate or use the dating sites, you know. That should be clear. This guy also said that he had more luck on Tinder, which I honestly doubt. So, but he did not really clarify what he meant with being more lucky on Tinder. Does it mean he just saw more beautiful girls, more beautiful pictures? Or does he mean he actually dated younger, more beautiful women? He has not clarified this yet. I assume he is just seeing, when he's scrolling through the app, a lot of young, beautiful women. I would agree with him, that's surely the case, you know, but you also have to know that these young, pretty, attractive women are mostly hookers, freelancers, and escort girls, you know. So I don't think that... Anyway, I can just assume, and this is what I assume, because this is also the feedback I got from other expatriates, Western guys who use Tinder in Indonesia and Bali, for example, and they say all the same thing: Tinder sucks, only hookers, prostitutes and stuff mostly. Now, I know a guy in Bali who's also trying to date Indonesian women, and he's complaining that on Tinder he only stumbles upon prostitutes and hookers. And one other guy advised him and told him then stop using Tinder, but for some reason he cannot stop using Tinder, or he don't want to, but he's still complaining that he's only stumbling upon hookers. You know the definition of insanity, you know, if you continue doing the same things expecting different results. So this guy is in kind of this dilemma, you know. But if you want to meet hookers, freelancers, if you are okay with that, if you have no issue, if you have no problem, then if this is your ambition, your main goal, then go ahead. Go on Tinder and then have fun. Nothing wrong, right? By the way, I also have received a viewer comment from an American Chinese guy. He was in Surabaya a while ago, and he also using dating sites. I don't know which one, but he also complained that he wasn't lucky with the Indonesian girls, and now his buddy, which is a French white guy, is apparently very lucky with the Indonesian girls on the dating sites. So I told him, you know, if you're American Chinese, you should target the chindos, you know, the Chinese Indonesian girls of whom there are plenty in Indonesia and also in Surabaya. Surabaya is a Chinese stronghold, a Chindo stronghold, you know. So you should target these Chinese Indonesian girls, these Chindos, which are also very hot and very attractive, you know, very attractive girls. So I don't know what the matter is with him. But he told me, you know, as an American Chinese, he is apparently struggling here in Indonesia. But when he's going to the Philippines or Thailand, it's a completely different ball game. It's very easy for him, you know. So, and this is the story, you know. You struggle in one country and then you have better luck in other countries. So there is not really a blueprint. Is it true that Indonesian women in general prefer guys with lighter skin? Yes, definitely. I would say that's also my experience. I barely see Indonesian women here walking around with black guys, for example. This is just how it is. This is what I have observed or not have observed, okay? Why that is, I don't know. I leave this up for speculation, okay? So does ethnicity plays a role in Indonesian dating? I believe so, yes, for the reasons I just mentioned. But honestly, if you are an American Chinese and you look Chinese, I don't see any issues with dating in Indonesia. Yeah. Because I believe even if you are a Korean or Japanese, it's going to be very easy to hook up with girls here. Everything what is Asian, you know, Japanese, Korean anyway, because, you know, they enjoy a higher status anyway, and Western expatriates, okay? And you as an American Chinese or Canadian Chinese, or I don't know, you look Chinese, you shouldn't have any big issues, you know? This is just my advice. Just a little side note here. So, but anyway, to finish this video, if these Indonesian dating apps really don't work for you, then you have to change tactics, right? And you have to start to cold approach, yeah. But I still would advise to use the dating sites if you are a cold approacher, if you have no issues with cold approaching girls, and then still incorporate the dating sites into your strategy. This is just my advice, you know, nothing wrong with that. And again, also it depends of course on your personality, you know. If you are very introverted and shy, if you have a strong fear of rejection and do not want to cold approach under any circumstances, yeah, then you have to kind of fall back onto these dating sites. But you also have to be realistic, maybe manage your expectations a little bit, and also be patient, you know. Like, it happened to me also, you know, last year, for example, I was very successful with Indonesian Cupid, and this year not much was really happening. Although I found my current girlfriend also an Indonesian Cupid in a few months ago, and since then of course I obviously stopped dating women. I'm not subscribed, I'm not on Indonesian Cupid now, not on any other dating site, because I'm not interested in dating other women. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, you know, sometimes you have mixed results, you know, and this is just how it is. But if you have to probably work on your expectations. If you really expect 8, 9s or 10s young girls in their early 20s, it's gonna be difficult, I would say. You might be more lucky with finding single moms in this age range, you know, because for them it's difficult to find an Indonesian partner, you know. But these young, pretty hot chicks in their early 20s, you know, then I need to go on a dating site. You know, they just walk down the street, they have so many guys looking at them, maybe even approaching them, you know. So if you want to hook up with one of these pretty girls and join the gang and also become one of these cold approachers, you know, or join Tinder and hook up with beautiful young girls in the early 20s, but assume that most of them are just in for the money, that they are freelancers, you know, so you don't get disappointed later, right? So with that being said, I'm checking out for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. How is your experience with Indonesian dating sites? Indonesian Cupid, Tinder, or are there other Indonesian dating sites you would recommend? I hear Bumble is quite okay. I never used it, never tried it out, so I cannot tell. But help us out if you have good experiences with Indonesian dating sites, and if yes, which one you use, and what are your tactics? What is your strategy? Let us know. Help us out, and then I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care. Bye bye.